Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox. I would like to welcome you to the Sunday Book Review. The Sunday Book Review is the series where I discuss books which impact the compliance practitioner, the legal professional, and the business professional. I hope you will enjoy this episode. October 11, 2020, the Tax Cheat Edition. Today we're going to take a look at 4 books about the U.S. tax code. We begin with The Great Tax Wars, Teddy Roosevelt, Wilson, How the Income Tax Transformed America. A major work of history, this book is a gripping epic story of 6 decades of often violent conflict over wealth, power, and fairness that gave America the income tax. It's the tumultuous period of radical change from Abraham Lincoln through the Progressive Era and Woodrow Wilson. During these years of upheaval, America was transformed from an agrarian society into a mighty industrial nation. Great fortunes were amassed, and farmers and workers rebelled, class war narrowly averted. The Great Tax Wars features an extraordinary cast of characters, including the men who built the nation's industries and the politicians and reformers who battled them: J.P. Morgan, Andrew Carnegie, William Stenning Bryan, and Eugene Debs. From their ferocious battles emerged a more flexible definition of democracy, economic justice, and free enterprise, largely framed by a progressive tax system. In this groundbreaking book, Weismann shows how the ever-controversial income tax transformed America, and today's tax debates echo those. Next up, Perfectly Legal by David K. Johnson. Since the mid-'70s, there has been a dramatic shift in America's socioeconomic system, one that has gone virtually unnoticed by the general public. Tax policies and their enforcement have become a disaster thanks to discreet lobbying by the segment of the one top percent. Washington is reluctant or unable to fix them. The corporate income tax, the estate tax, and the gift tax have been largely ignored by the media, but the cumulative results are remarkable. Today, someone who owns a salary or earns a salary of $60,000 pays a larger percentage of his income in taxes than the 400 richest Americans. Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative reporter David K. Johnson exposes how the middle class is being squeezed to create a widening wealth gap that threatens the stability of this country. Next up, Big Dirty Money, The Shocking Injustice and Unseen Cost of White-Collar Crime by Jennifer Taub. There's an elite crime spending spree happening in America, and the privileged perps are getting away with it. Selling loose cigarettes on a city sidewalk can lead to a death if you are pulled over by the NYPD. If you're rich and commit mail fraud, wire fraud, bank fraud, or lie in court, you may or may not get off or even win an election. When caught and convicted, such as for bribing their kids' way into college, there's club feds. Operate the scam from the executive suite, and you have Wells Fargo. This is not a victimless crime. Big Dirty Money details the scandalous, common, and concrete ways that ordinary Americans suffer when the well-heeled use white-collar and tax crimes to sustain wealth, social status, and political influence. Profiteers caused the mortgage meltdown and the prescriptive opioid crisis, and they've even evaded taxes and deprived communities of public funds for their education and public health. Taub goes beyond the headlines to track how we got there and what we can do to fix things. And finally, we end with a work of fiction by David Foster Wallace, which is The Pale King. Agents at the IRS Regional Examination Center appear ordinary enough to the newly arrived trainee, but as he immerses himself in routine so tedious and repetitive that new employees receive boredom survival training, he learns of the extraordinary variety of personalities drawn to this strange calling. He has arrived at a moment when the forces within the IRS are plotting to eliminate what even little humanity the work still has. The work was unfinished at the time of Wallace's death. This month on 31 Days to a More Effective Compliance program, I take up business ventures. How do joint ventures, teaming agreements, distributorships, franchises all come under the FCPA penumbrum, and how do you as a compliance officer deal with them? And more importantly, how are they different than other types of risks that you must manage? Check out this month's 31 Days to a More Effective Compliance program sponsored by Affiliated Monitors. I look forward to visiting with you again next week.